TOEFL English Practice, March 31, 2026. Today's news stories. Story 1. Global economic turmoil as Iran war enters fifth week. The International Monetary Fund has warned that the ongoing conflict in the Middle East is casting a shadow over global economic prospects. As oil prices surged above $115 per barrel on Monday. Finance ministers from the G7 nations convened an emergency meeting to assess the ramifications of the oil price shock, particularly its impact on developing economies. Should the Strait of Hormuz remain closed for an extended period, economists predict that inflationary pressures could intensify dramatically across multiple continents, potentially triggering a recession in vulnerable markets. Story 2. IBM quantum computer achieves historic. Scientists at IBM have demonstrated that a quantum computer can accurately simulate the behavior of real magnetic materials, matching experimental data from neutron scattering experiments conducted at Oak Ridge National Laboratory. This breakthrough represents the first time quantum simulations have been corroborated by physical experiments, a development that could accelerate research in materials science and drug discovery. Had this capability been available a decade ago, researchers might have already solved numerous computational problems that remain intractable with classical computing. Story 3. Arctic sea ice reaches alarming record low. NASA scientists have announced that Arctic winter sea ice has tied its lowest level ever recorded, marking the second consecutive year of unprecedented decline. The diminished ice coverage is being attributed to an anomalous warming pattern that has shattered temperature records across the northern hemisphere. Were current trends to persist, climate researchers estimate that the Arctic could experience ice-free summers within the next 2 decades, fundamentally altering global weather patterns and threatening coastal communities worldwide. Advanced vocabulary. First word, ramifications. A noun meaning the complex consequences or results of an action or event. Example, finance ministers convened to assess the ramifications of the oil price shock. Second word, convene, a verb meaning to come together or assemble for a formal meeting. Example, finance ministers from the G7 nations convened an emergency meeting. Third word, corroborated, a verb meaning to confirm or support with evidence or authority. Example, quantum simulations have been corroborated by physical experiments. Fourth word, intractable, an adjective meaning difficult or impossible to solve or manage. Example, problems that remain intractable with classical computing. Fifth word, unprecedented, an adjective meaning never done or experienced before. Example, the second consecutive year of unprecedented decline. Sixth word, anomalous, an adjective meaning deviating from what is standard, normal, or expected. Example, the diminished ice coverage is being attributed to an anomalous warming. Seventh word, diminished, a verb, past participle, meaning reduced in size, extent, or importance. Example, the diminished ice coverage is being attributed to an anomalous warming pattern. Eighth word, inflationary, an adjective meaning relating to or causing a general increase in prices. Example, inflationary pressures could intensify dramatically across multiple continents. Grammar focus. First grammar pattern, conditional with should for formal warnings. For example, should the Strait of Hormuz remain closed for an extended period, economists predict that inflationary pressures could intensify. This inverted conditional structure omits if and places should at the beginning, creating a more formal and emphatic tone commonly used in academic and news writing. Second grammar pattern, subjunctive with were, to four hypothetical futures. For example, were current trends to persist, the Arctic could experience ice-free summers. This formal subjunctive construction expresses hypothetical future scenarios and is frequently encountered in TOEFL reading passages and lectures. Practice tip. Pay attention to how today's stories use conditional structures to discuss potential consequences. Try writing 3 sentences about current events using each conditional type. First, conditional for likely outcomes. Second, conditional for unlikely but possible scenarios. And third, conditional for past hypotheticals. This exercise will prepare you for tough integrated writing tasks. That concludes today's TOEFL English practice. Keep practicing every day to improve your English skills.